like
should I do the countdown?
If you wish, yeah.
Okay, or should we do? I'm sorry. Should we do like the pre-game thing first and then countdown?
We can just go straight into it. Really, the thing we're practicing here, I think, is mostly the casting and not the intros. But you can do a quick intro, like as we go into it. Won't be
Okay.
much action in the first few seconds, and I better hide it so I don't know where the goals are.
Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and count down, and then we
Mhm.
can sync up. Right.
Sure.
Okay. So start on 3, 2, 1, now. All right. Welcome everyone. We are in the winners finals between Gale Force and Method, and off the kickoff we have Gale Force already with the offensive pressure, but we have Method coming down and sorry, a little out of it now. So we have Metzenaris, he takes it.
Could actually
Violent Panda
restart.
off the wall.
There's a reason. I did a boo-boo. I think I set the speed to 10%.
I did
Okay,
the
I'd be happy to
exact
restart
same
because
thing.
I was just like, it's so weird doing it off a replay. I've done this once before and it's like,
There you
so
go.
should we restart back to 0?
Yes, let's restart back to 0 because I was wondering, why is nothing happening?
I was thinking the same thing. I literally did the same thing. That's great.
Okay.
Okay, after you.
Okay, on. All right, 3, 2, 1, start. All right, hi everyone, and welcome. We are here at the winners finals of the Rocket League World Championship between Gale Force and Method. I am Primed, your host, along with my co-host, Jar of Jam.
Hey there, this is one hell of the match. Two of the strongest teams right now in the world, and I'm glad to say that both of these are European teams. A little bit of regional bias, but I'm cheering for both of them, but I guess Method will be my favorite one to win this one. These guys have improved immensely over the past few months, and they really have been exploding on the scene. Let's see how this will go.
Yeah, let's see how Gale Force handles this Method. The speed and precision, but Gale Force has been just rocketing right through this tournament. Both of these teams well matched, and we see this as they go back and forth. K-Dop trying to push it up, and Magnus gets it. Everybody's up in the air. Turbo's got it down. A lot of midfield play, but here there's an opportunity. A-Lot, but he can't get it over into the net. Violent Panda's just messing with Magnus there. K-Dop's able to get it up. Let's see if Panda can touch it. He can't. So this goes right back to Method. Method has to get out of their zone. Magnus with a touch, but K-Dop right in there, but nothing doing. His teammates way back. Right at the moment, there's not a lot of action except for right there with a chance, Magnus, but snuffed out by K-Dop. Otherwise, so far, it's been just a tight midfield game.
Bravo by Magnus. He followed that ball up until the very end, but couldn't get to touch because Gale Force were already up on it and blocking everything that was flying in direction of the net. A couple of moments ago, Method did quite a big mistake, I feel, in front of their own net. Didn't clear it properly. Gave a chance to Gale Force, but Gale Force couldn't use it. And backboard plays for Metzenaris. You can't leave him there. Method is pressuring the Gale Force, and Gale Force so far are barely keeping up with them.
The Method is doing a good job of keeping it in the Gale Force end, and it looks like Gale Force is just trying to feel them out. I mean, these two teams have played plenty of times, so they are going kind of back and forth, but nobody so far has had a really good shot opportunity. So there's a chance right here. K-Dop again on that left side. He's been over there, nothing doing. Nice clear all the way down. This forces Panda to go back, try to get it back. Nice pass to Turbo, but Turbo cannot handle it. This gives Magnus a chance to get it up off the crossbar if he can. K-Dop pushes it aside. Easy kick save for him. And now we're going back into the middle of the field. A lot of fast play by these teams. Violet Panda with a chance to get it around and up, and he does. He's
Look what
carrying
Magnus
it.
was just been doing in the corner. If you have noticed that Magnus was blocking one of the Gale Force players not to get into the net. Unfortunately, his teammate wasn't there, and instead this opens up a play for Gale Force. Pause. And I really didn't see the goal, so I can't even talk about it. Quick, decisive move from the right flank for Gale Force, and that pass takes out two of the Method players. So a quick one for Gale Force, 1-0. So I suggest we, sorry, I need to put up there we go. Hold the left arrow until it like jumps to 2:17 on the clock.
Okay.
Or hold right arrow if you've passed that.
Okay. So I'm at
It should
217 now.
Yeah, 217. All right. So I've sort of said my piece already, but you can add something, and then we just on your 3, 2, 1 go, just press play again, and then we'll sync it again.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so A-Lot, Magnus up. K-Dop pushes it aside. Gale Force now on the attack. Metsonoris in the middle of the field. The Magnus has a chance, but he just pushes it up too softly. A-Lot has a...
Sorry, are we on the same thing? Because you are actually in the play, but if we're at 217, not on the bottom one, on the top one.
Oh, in the top one. I'm sorry.
top one.
I was wondering,
Yeah.
why we were going before the before the goal.
Yeah, just the goal. So go to, like, if you're way there, just hold the right arrow. It should jump like to 217 on the clock at the top.
Okay.
Forget the bottom.
Okay.
Then it'll be like shortly before the goal, so we can.
Okay.
sort
Yep.
of
I'm at
ease up a little
217
bit.
now.
Okay. After you then.
Okay. Do you want me to call the goal or just let it go?
You do whatever you feel like you're doing. It just gives them sort of like pre-time to get into it.
Oh, right. Okay. So, well, since you already called the goal, we'll just go ahead and skip to the next.
Sure.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
let's
So,
go on. Yeah, feel free to go.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm not used to using the replays like this.
No, it's a one way to do this, like do a replay within a replay. Otherwise, yeah. It stinks.
No, I guess is the best we can do. All right, I'm at 216, so I guess that's kind of close enough.
I'm trying to figure out how you got to 216. All right, let's go with 216. Just go.
Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1. And the goal by Turbo Pulsa opens the scoring for Gale Force. They have the lead. Less than half of the game left. Method has to respond to this. They go right at it. A-Lot up in the air. Magnus has to defend that. Metsonoris, the pace is blistering. Method with a shot. Turbo easily grabs control of it. So they're going to set up. Violent Panda is going to get it. But Metsonoris gets to the ball before anybody else does. Turbo is back, but he cannot. Yes, he does get control of the ball. Method is doing such a great job of tackling these Gale Force players when they get the ball and being able to block and challenge them to keep it in the Gale Force zone, but they are still down by a goal. Turbo Pulsa with the air dribble, but Magnus denies them. And so far, it seems like some 1v1 plays, a little bit of pressure by Gale Force. Method has been in Gale Force's zone for so much of the game, but they still don't have anything for it.
Yeah, they just don't use their chances. We've seen a couple of whiffs by them in the positions where they usually hit the target 9 out of 10 times. Maybe that was one of those times. Gale Force just rarely gets in the side of Method, but when they do, it's always extremely dangerous. And yet again, Method leave their goal open. The scoreline doesn't really show what's happening on the field, and I feel like it's the Method who are into control, but somehow the game is just slipping away from them. Okay, jump to 107.
Okay.
Or again, if you have something, obviously, feel free to say it.
Okay. At 105. Are you using the controller to do it, or are you using
the keyboard? Yeah, I'm not sure how to
keyboard.
do the controller actually. Let me check. Actually,
me see.
I'll try it for
I
you.
believe it's just holding left on the D-pad.
Okay, I'm on 107 now.
Yeah, exactly. Left, right on D-pad. Okay.
Okay, so I think we're good to go.
Yep.
Okay, great. 3, 2, 1, start. And we have K-Dop with the goal, the second goal of the game by Gale Force. They are starting to turn it on with about a minute left. Method, they have a lot of work to do. And there's the first one for Method, Magnus.
Well, there's one exactly right from the kickoff. Without Gale Force not having enough time to just compose themselves, Magnus finally finds a great position to put one in on target. Previously, despite those 6 shots they've had, 5 shots previously, they just couldn't get anything done in the vicinity of the goal. Everywhere, but not the net. Now, finally, Magnus opened up to scoring, and this is exactly what he said. They needed to get something done on the field, and that will give them certainly some fire in their bellies to finish up this match.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so should we go back to
101.
101?
Basically, just to the goal. It should be like same for the both of us. If we jump straight back to the key point,
Okay.
I believe it's called
Yep.
key point or key frame.
I'm at 101.
Yep.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, start. So Method comes back with a goal. They are only down by 1 with less than a minute left. They have responded immediately to Gale Force, and now they have a chance to tie the game up, but they need to get it back into the Gale Force zone. Gale Force is just buzzing around them. Alot has a chance right here. He's got Magnus. Magnus passed back to Metz and Norris. So Gale Force has to reset. And they are starting to get peppered. Alot with a chance on the redirect. But Gale Force straight down. Panda off the back wall. Nothing doing. Magnus K-Dop with a nice touch to get it down and around. Violent Panda picks it up. 20 seconds left. Method has to get it back up the field. They're stuck in their zone. Metz and Norris down the field with a nice clear, but nobody to follow. 11 seconds. Alot. Violent Panda clears it away. Metz and Norris with one last try. Magnus up in the air. K-Dop again with the defense. And they are down. Will they score a goal to finish this?
Oh.
It doesn't matter. They win the game 2-1.
So close for Gale Force to put yet another cherry on the top of the cake that they really fought for against Method. Method in the last minute, unfortunately, they were stuck in their own half. Gale Force, what they played was just pure defense, with Method clearing the ball just because they had to put the ball on the other side of the field. Gale Force were just passively sitting in their zone and getting these balls and putting them right back to Method's half. In the end, Method just couldn't push, despite controlling the flow of the game for 4 minutes. They couldn't do it in the decisive 1 minute at the end.
All right.
Okie doke.
Or should I do something after that next time? Or just finish it?
Again, we don't have to like emulate the whole
Okay.
real match thing. If you
Okay.
have something to say, if you have analysis, surely go for
Okay.
it. We don't have to do the whole like, oh, and let's wait for the next match, yada yada.
Right.
Yada. If you wish, only if you wish. I don't mind.
Well, the only thing I would have said was closer to what you would have said, so I didn't want to parrot it.
Oh yeah.
so-
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's go for the thingy that we have to do.
Right.
So
So, do you want me to start?
Feel free to.
Okay. So obviously, I had a lot of kind of fits and starts in that one. I'm usually not nervous. It's very strange when I do a tournament. Maybe because it's live and ongoing, and I'm in the moment. It's like not a big deal. But for some reason, and I've done this before. I've actually done this once before with a replay. It's still clunky, but I've done it. I need to do it more often because this is just good practice. But
Good
I think, yeah, it's good practice. But I think anytime I get with sort of new people, especially with new people that I know are very experienced, and so I get a little bit of nervous, a
Oh,
little bit
shut
of
up.
nervousness. So yeah, that was a big part of it. I was kind of tongue-tied at the beginning, and I wasn't. Like at one point, I wasn't even sure. Like, okay, wait, who has the ball? So it's just one thing I have to get more. I have to get immediately more comfortable in the thing. One thing I think I did well was toward the end of the match, I realized I was talking too long in the sort of the first half of it, and so I wasn't giving Jar wasn't giving you a chance to get in, and so I think at the second half of the match I was able to sort of make sure that I said my calls, and then I was able to hand it to you. So I think that worked better in the second half of the match.
I'll be honest, I didn't notice it that much. As in not you doing it correctly, more like I didn't notice that you were not giving me much time. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
But if you feel like it, maybe it was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I was kind of going on and on in the first half, but part of that was because I was, I think I was nervous and I was trying to figure out my calls, and
I feel
that-
for like play-by-play is not that big of a deal. It's more of a problem for color casters, and I know that because that's what I do usually.
yeah.
I used to do it a lot. I've decreased the amounts I do that recently, but still sometimes I go on and on and on.
Well, I think this game in particular, when you have like a low scoring game, there's sort of different opportunities. Like if it's a high scoring game, I mean play by play, you're gonna make the call, and then it's gonna be, the color is gonna come in and analyze the goal and things like that. But when it's longer, you kind of got to figure out your transitions. And I remember when I did a practice one time with Pacifist, he said his rule of thumb is if it's been like a minute, he'll try to hand it over to color if like nothing's happening.
Yeah, I've been noticing that play-by-play, the ones I usually do it with, usually stop talking about 30 seconds in.
Hmm.
So you throw it to me at about 30-second mark. But minute is also okay. Really, with low-scoring games, I feel it's like if you feel like indeed the game has been going back and forth, maybe transferred after an attack. So
Hmm.
the caller can talk about the attack that just happened. Like if it happened, for example, for 30 seconds, they were trying to get it in, then it's 30
Yeah.
seconds of material that color casting can talk about.
Yeah, yeah. I usually try to do it in like less than a minute if I can, but I know sometimes I'll go on for a little bit. Not with play by play. I have a tendency. I didn't do it in this game, probably because I was so nervous. But I actually have a tendency to do too much analysis as play by play. A little bit of analysis is fine. I think it's good because I think you can kind of hand it off to the color to kind of expand on that, or they can talk about something different. But I have a tendency to do that, especially with teams. Like if I'm deep into a tournament and it's like the grand finals and the stories are, we've already talked about the teams and things like that. And then, so a lot of times instead of just calling play by play, we'll talk about how like where the momentum is and,
Hmm.
that moment in the tournament and things like that. And I just have to make sure that I'm careful to be able to give color enough time. And 30 seconds, I think is good as well, especially if like nothing major is happening. The one thing though, like you talked about after like a major attack, and a lot of times I'll do that. But the funny thing is sometimes when it's like a scramble and it's like a big, major attack and the defense withstands it, and then I hand it off to color and the ball just goes like right down the field on the counter attack, and then the color has to call it, which is fine. But it happens like that so often.
Well, I guess then it's need to watch where the ball is going.
Watch for that.
Yeah, if it's counterattack indeed starting or just a clear. If it's a clear, then prime time to go to the color caster. If not, then well,
Right. So I think that's just the thing that I need to get more experience with is just keeping an eye on how the defense clears it after like a major attack. And if it's something where it's kind of a clear that's just kind of popped up in the air and things can breathe for a few seconds, then that's a good time to kind of hand it
yeah.
off. But if it's balls going straight, it looks like it's going to go straight back down the field, then it's a possibility of the score, and then
Exactly.
probably
Yeah,
go ahead and keep it.
it's also a good practice just to with that to see the goal coming up. Sometimes you can see the goal just upcoming, not just an easy one like a clear down the middle, and
Hmm.
you see that it's a long shot. Like the play is happening that you know will end in a goal because the players are positioned the specific way, or at least there's a really high chance of it. So that paired with the ability to see where the play is dying down, I think it's really good for play-by-play, like a really
Yeah,
good
that's
skill to practice.
and that's something that, when you're playing the game, you're in the moment, but when you're actually like looking at the game from different perspectives, it's just a different type of thing. It's a different type of feel for it. So it's something that I have to get used to doing.
Okay, let's try and do one more,
Okay.
like 4-2, let's say. It's the next match in the series.
Okay. 4-2. Yep.
Teach fly. Mm-hmm. Okie dokie.
Okay. Let me just switch it up. I like to use what camera do you use, the fly cam, the free
I
cam?
use a fly cam, yeah.
Yeah, I know that a lot of color analysts will use the fly cam so you can have a bigger, more bird's eye view of it. But I use it as well, but I have to kind of get into the play a little bit to sometimes to see the
Yeah.
details. And I know some people just they leave it on director's mode or auto cam or something, play by play. I mean, and so I know I I posted that to general, and a lot of people had different sort of things to say. So
Hmm.
I'm still kind of figuring out how I want to follow the play.
Whatever works for you. For me, definitely it's fly cam because I need to see the play unfolding. Specifically, I need to see the things that aren't in the midst of the play.
Yeah.
So how the people are positioned in the defense, not specifically where the ball is, but off the ball.
Yeah, and that's something that I need to do better as the color. Like I've actually never done color in terms of like an official cast. I've done it with sort of solo casting, just sort of practicing on my own stream, and I've done it in practice, like basically one time. But I know in color, I mean, you really have to be able to see, what the teams are doing, sort of, from not just that particular play, but what they've been doing through the whole game, how they're positioning themselves, what players are doing well, not doing well. Those are the types of things that I try to touch on as play-by-play, but as color, I know I really have to pay really close attention to that. So, and it was fun to listen to you do your commentary, because you were drawing out things that I was so busy just watching the plays and describing them that I wasn't seeing. I was seeing some of the things you were saying, but other things, you brought up that were pretty cool that I had missed. So, good stuff.
Again, aw shucks.
Okay. All right. So I am ready at the beginning of the game.
Here. Yep.
Okay. So we will get countdown to off of 3. So 3, 2, 1, start. All right. We are here in game 2. Gale Force took the first game against Method. Let's see how Method responds after doing so much hard work in that first game. Panda already up with it. Gale Force on the attack immediately. But Method, they did so well in pressuring Gale Force, but they are having Method that is having trouble with Gale Force's offense. So let's see what these teams can do.
I get a feeling that the Gale Force is just continuing the momentum for a previous game. What that last minute has shown us in game number 1 is that while pressure was coming in from Gale Force, they weren't letting Method out of their own half. Now it continues. With Method, again, it's looking shaky. The moment they are on the defensive side of things, they just look incredibly not disorganized, I would say is the word. Late attempts at the balls. Just nothing is clicking for them. I hope they get themselves together. Otherwise, it'll be a quick 4-0 best of 7.
Method may have lost some confidence after that first game. They started out strong and lost it. Violent Panda with a shot there, pushed away. Mong is able to get another touch up the field. That helps to relieve some of that pressure. But Method has no shots so far registered. They have barely been in the Gale Force zone. They need to get out. A dangerous play. Baylot very lucky to get to that. And they do have possession. They have a chance. K-Dop's so expert at getting up and getting touches to be able to get it into the offensive zone and keep it there. And Turbo is always lurking in the center. But a lot has a chance off the top with the double touch in the goal.
What a amazing play. But we've seen some attempts at the backboard plays from Method, and now finally crafts one for himself. He didn't need anyone but his trusty partner, Matsunaris, on the flank, who set him up with a pass. And then Gale Force were not expecting the play to happening straight from the midfield to the backboard and back. Gale Force will have to stop these plays right as they happen. Put someone on the backboard. Otherwise, Method will put those in one after the other.
Okay, that's great. I'm at 326.
Yep.
And all right, great. I'm going to start. 3, 2, 1, start. And Method with the first goal of the game. They have the momentum. Let's see if they can keep this up. They do have, looks like, no, not possession. Panda gets it. So Panda on the attack immediately. Turbo can't get the touch. This is a chance right now. Metza off the top of the backboard. Magnus, he misses it. No, he gets it again. The double touch for the second goal.
As if it's like their second nature. They don't play any other way but the double touches and touches out the wall. Magnus, I think the momentum really scored that for him. He was going for that ball, not even controlling the car at that point. I think it was off the ground and flying in on its own. But what a play by them, quickly starting this off, getting their momentum going, since the previous game really didn't go in their favor, and the beginning of this game certainly wasn't in their favor either.
Okay, good stuff. All right, I'm at 313.
Yep, let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, start. All right, Magnus with that great double touch gets the Method lead to 2. They are up 2-0 now on Gale Force. The beginning of this game, they were so shaky. It was not looking like this was going to be the result, and they are just now starting to buzz around the Gale Force net, and they have Gale Force on their heels for the moment. Let's see if they can. No, Turbo is able to get it up. Let's see if he can get it off the backboard. It's popped up in the air. A lot gets it to the side, but K-Dot with the shot. Magnus with the save, the epic save. A-Lot's got to turn it around. They are having trouble getting it out, but they do for the moment. K-Dop's got to retreat. He's going to take possession, and they're trying to go back up the field. But Method, again, they have turned the tables on this Gale Force team.
Method's defense is still like just in time. Their saves come in just at the last moment. I wonder for how long this will be working for them, because when Gale Force do get out of their side, it spells trouble for Method. That's for sure. You've seen those shots for Method themselves when they come to the attack. Is they sometimes get Gale Force on the back foot. I feel for Gale Force, it's every single time to get out of the defense into the attack. It's always extremely dangerous.
And K-Dot back there on defense, we've seen him earlier push up into the offensive zone and get some plays working for Gale Force, but he was stuck on his back line for a good chunk of this game. So let's see if they can get it up the field. Turbo has a chance. He drops it. Panda is there. A-Lot wins the 50-50. K-Dot again stuck in his zone. Magnus with the pass up. Turbo snuffs out that pass to A-Lot. K-Dot has a chance to air dribble it down. He's finally down in the offensive zone. Let's see if Gale Force can set up a play here, but nothing going. Again, Method just blocking and challenging everything to get it back. But here's a shot. Magnus expertly gets it away, and Method, they're just rotating. They have the lead, a little more than a minute left, and they seem at this point content to just play with this lead.
Method playing defensively a lot, thinking about going to attack, and then thinking, no, this play can go either way. I better stay in the defense. And as long as they keep their defensive rotation solid, I think Method will win this game single-handedly, with Turbo Pulsa giving too much time on the field with two players against them, no one even getting for it. 1v1 Chop certainly strolling for Turbo Pulsa as he gets his team one goal closer to tying this up.
Yeah, just one simple mistake by Method, and that leads to the goal for Gale Force, and they have a chance to get back into this game. All right, so I'm at 55 seconds.
Yep.
Cool. All right, 3, 2, 1, start. So Gale Force is back in this game. They are only down by one goal with less than a minute left. Let's see if this raises their spirits and they can get it going. But at this point, Method is just still pressuring them, rotating well. They just had that one mistake. But Gale Force so talented, and now they have a chance. Turbo Pulsa with the fake, and then the goal to tie.
Amazing, really. Method just make two extremely big mistakes. Horrible mistakes in the defense, as Turbo Pulsa had no business in scoring that one. A lot was on it. There was a defender in the net. Turbo Pulsa didn't do anything himself. So with that, with the way Method have been playing, their defensive rotations just don't even come into this. They've conceded two really horrible goals that they had no business in conceding.
All right, we are at 39 seconds.
Yep.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, start. This Method team has just given up two quick goals to Gale Force, and they are in a lot of trouble. A little more than 30 seconds left. Method already down by a game, losing a 2-goal lead like this, and now they are stuck in their end for the moment. Yes, Gale Force still on the attack, but they could not keep it up. Turbo, though, he pushes it into the zone, but off way to the side, nobody there. A-Lot able to get it up. A-Lot with a nice touch right there against K-Dot. Let's see if Monix can set it up for Metz and Norris. Panda, 6 seconds left, not much time. K-Dot trying to get that ball down. Let's see if they can. No, the ball is up in the air. There's a chance if somebody can get to it. No, the ball straight down, so we are going to overtime.
For Method, looked so solid for the majority of this match, and again at the end of the whole thing, they just fell apart. 2 unanswered goals so far, with Magnus really stopping that one at the brink of scoring, because Gale Force again put 2 players on the attack and find Method yet again in a position when they are almost can't defend the upcoming shot. If that was if a lot wasn't there, he wouldn't get us. What a quick change from the defense in the blink of an eye. A lot to Magnus, who was already in the position. I really want to see that one more time in the replay. He's on the flank. He reacts to that shot beautifully. You wouldn't
And
expect something like that in the gold game, but wow, when the professionals do it, is a joy to behold.
Just an incredible redirect. So much power on that. Gale Force had no chance. Method back in this series. They win the game 3-2, and the series is now tied 1-1.
Yeah, at the point when that shot came, Violent Panda, only K-Dop thought maybe something will happen and the ball will change directions. At that point, he was already way too late.
All right.
Okay.
Great stuff.
I did sort of fall apart in the game number 2 just a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like I stumbled my words a couple of times. Didn't really, so not just stumble over my words, but also like my thoughts were somewhere else. I feel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
Really
I heard you stumble a couple times, but I felt like you were. I still felt like you were on point.
Well, for the most of it, I still feel my biggest problem I feel right now with the color casting is I need to do more specific analysis, I guess. And that's one big hell of a task.
So more specific, like what exactly what led up to that play, kind of thing.
For example, or just
Kind of like what you said at the very
not just
end.
dissecting the play that just happened, but really
Okay.
taking into account what happened on the field, how it got to that position,
Right.
and maybe if nothing has happened, if it wasn't the goal, to drop in a piece of commentary that is about how the play has been unfolding.
Right. Right. Yeah, and that's the one thing as Keller that I know I need to do, like that I don't do as play-by-play, because play-by-play I'm so focused on the play that I can come up with some general things that I've noticed, which is fine because that's nice to kind of point out and then
Absolutely.
can hand it off. But in terms of seeing, okay, well, what are the one or two plays that happened before the score that really led up to it? Because it's like one breakdown on one side of the field and then ends up going up the field for the score, and you can kind of point those things out, and it's that's the type of thing that I know I need to do better if I do color.
Okay.
Right. I forgot to mention it last time. It's a lot, not a lot.
A lot. Okay, not a lot. Right, a lot.
And Magnus and Matanorus.
Yep.
I thought those
Sometimes
were
I'll
okay.
say Magnus, but Magnus is
Yeah, I
try
heard
to keep
Magnus
remembering
at that
his
one time.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to talk about yourself first, Primed?
Yeah, so I thought I was a lot more comfortable in that game. I definitely had a couple of little things, where I felt a little tongue-tied, but I felt like it was a lot better than the first game. I think I felt like I was able to hand it off to Jar a lot easier this game than I did the first game. I'm not sure if I always did it in the right times, but I felt like it went a little bit better. I'm trying to think. There weren't many. I didn't have many opportunities to, just because of the way that our calls went. I think I didn't have as many goal calls, and I know that that's one of the things I need to work on, is getting sort of excited when a play is about to happen, and so I'm working on that. And I think I did a little bit better this game, but I didn't. I didn't have as many opportunities with goals, but I tried to do it when the play was, unfolding, and I was trying to get better at it. But that's still something I'm working on.
Well, yeah, now that you point that out, yeah, I do agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm pretty much a laid back kind of guy, so I have to get used to kind of raising my voice a lot. And one of the things that I do, and I don't know if other people notice it, haven't done it as much today because I'm trying to work on that, is that sometimes instead of raising the level of my voice, I'll raise the intensity of it, but then I'll lower my volume to modulate it, almost as if I don't want to be too loud. And so sometimes when I call goals, I'll do that. So what I'm trying to do is not automatically do that. So if I'm going to raise my intensity of my voice, which is great, I need to also raise the volume of my voice along with it, so that it seems like it's. Otherwise, people might miss that and think, I wasn't really excited or hyped about it after all.
Yeah, well, there are a couple of our CS casters really who also do a calm thing. Wavepunk does a really calm and collected a way of calling things. And I think I'm actually no, I think of Lawler. I think he does that as well.
Yeah, Lawler has he's I wouldn't say he's monotone. He's got kind of an
Mhm.
authoritative kind of style.
Yeah.
That's how he casts. And Wavepunk has you're right. I mean, Wavepunk has a very sort of even, but part of Wavepunk though at the same time is a lot of times when I see him, he'll be paired with somebody who's kind of excitable, like
Oh,
Carpet,
Carpet.
or
Yeah.
so it kind of works out that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of the feedback I've gotten is you need to get more hyped around big plays or plays that are about to happen and things like that. So, and I know I need to do that.
Adding some of it definitely helps. Although you don't have to do this necessarily. It's like if you have your own style, it's better to do your own style rather than try and sound fake.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and that's the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to sound fake. Like I know like when you do an intro or you do outro, you're going to sound kind of fake because that's just the way you're supposed to sound. That's like the expectation of it. But in the match itself, I'm trying to sound as natural as possible. But at the same time, it's like I understand like the play-by-play. One of the functions of the play-by-play is to kind of give the audience the sort of the emotion or
Mhm.
the moment, really describe the moment, not just visually but like emotionally the moment. I think that's part of what the play-by-play is kind of supposed to do. So I need to do that a little bit better but keep it natural.
Yeah. Well, just meet those two styles in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I feel like as I said, second game was just a little bit worse for me. I did did repeat myself a couple of times, definitely, and not specifically rambled on, but I either didn't have a point or I couldn't articulate my point well enough for it to sound good. So, well, it happens sometimes.
Happens sometimes, right? And like I said, I mean, I thought the gist of what you were saying made sense to me, but it could be that you felt like you were repeating it, which maybe you were, and for some people they might not have noticed it because it's really what's happening in the game, but you probably noticed it because it was like I just talked about that. I don't really need to talk about it again, or maybe I had said kind of the same type of thing, so maybe I need to talk about something a little different.
For me, it's mostly like I have a word. Either I can't find a word that I'm
Hmm.
looking for, so I settle for something first thing that comes to my mind, or I say one thing and then as I'm trying to go to the other thing again, I can't remember the words, so I repeat the thing I just said yet again.
Oh, okay.
It's mostly I feel it's mostly the fact that English is not my native language, so I
Right.
stumble over that, which really doesn't help me when the play is really intense
Right.
and I need to
Well, I
be
think
up.
everybody gets tongue-tied, and
Yeah.
I think the only thing I would say for you is sometimes you go a little long, and I think you've already you've already acknowledged that.
I
Uh,
mentioned that previously.
yeah.
So,
But people have different styles, and I think it's for me. I'm perfectly fine if somebody. It's easier for me working with somebody who goes a little long versus somebody who goes short, because I worked with somebody one time and he went so short that like I wasn't sure if he was finished. And so then it was I would hesitate, and then I would try to jump back in, and it just sometimes it felt awkward.
mhm.
So yeah, going long I don't mind, but if you think it's something that the audience is like, okay, this guy's rattling on, and then that could be a concern.
Majority of my points can be made in shorter time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So Prime, you're gonna be switching with Pacifist in a minute.
Okay.
Before we do that though, talking about being nervous earlier.
Mm-hmm.
To say that Jar was in the same spot as you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say like 10 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He started with Achieves.
Oh,
And
okay.
Achieves was his like mentor for the session. And look at where he is now. Like 10
Yeah.
months later, after all the work that he's put in at Rival / PRL and Shift and Rewind and other orgs. So
Yeah, I mean that is awesome. I mean that's kind of my goal is not to not to cast in like super big tournaments or be a highly known person or anything, but my goal is to get good at this and then be able to mentor people later down the line. That's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy like learning stuff, and I enjoy teaching after I learn. So hopefully that'll be me like a year from now.
Yeah. All right. I think you can move up. Oh, I meant to that channel. Yo, were they talking to you? Do I need to send you back up?
A little bit.
Whoops.
What?
I grabbed them like right in the middle of them
Well.
saying something to him.
Well, you didn't know whether they're finished or not.
Oh, I'm messaging Ninja, so.
Okay.
Okay.
My
I'm
bad.
done getting grilled by Ninja.
Nice. So what games did you guys do?
We just finished, I think it was game number 4?
Holy cow. Okay.
No, maybe it was game number, yeah, it was game number 4. No, it was game number 3, sorry.
Okay,
what
so
you
we
done,
can
like,
start
1
at
to
4.
3?
Yeah.
Well, 4 it is then.
Just change up the camera.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm at 0. Who's doing the play-by-play? Or are we doing kind of the play-by-play,
You
change it
will.
off?
Jar does color. Unless he wants to do play-by-play.
Okay.
Yep. If you want to do play-by-play, I'm okay with color.
What are we at in the series right now? Who's
I believe it's 2-2.
2-2
That is-
tie?
Or no, sorry, hold on.
No, can be.
It's
Gale
2-1
Force, Method,
Gale
Gale
Force.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. How are you doing with this with Badgey and Ninja?
Yeah,
Did you,
how
like,
are you
pause it
handling
to go?
the goals?
Well, they didn't want me to pause it because I was pausing it and then it was throwing off the time. So it's up to you.
I suggest we do this thing. Partly because I'm used to this, partly because I think it's better to just pause just a little bit. When the goal happens, pause. We'll just talk for a little bit, like simulate the replay happening in the background, and then we jump to a keyframe. You do that with either with left, right arrow on the keyboard or with left, right on the D-pad. Sort of the jump straight to shortly before the goal. So
Shortly before the next goal?
No,
shortly
before the goal that just happened.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
just happened.
Oh, okay.
So just go back in time just a little bit by holding the left arrow, and this will take us like some time to get into it.
Okay.
Back
I
into
got you.
this. Well, I'm pretty sure after the first one we'll get it. Okay. Otherwise, I'm absolutely ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back into it. Gale Force managing to take 2 off of Method. Coming out strong, showing some great force of offensive and defensive plays all around here. We're seeing K-Dot pushing things up into the orange. Magnus with the clear. Metzenarius with a 1-2 pass play. That's going to go in, and Method with the early goal.
Wow, what a play. They've started right from their own half, and that came off a really dodgy clear by 2 of the players. No, it's 1-2. Method open up the scoring in a great fashion without even 15 seconds passing.
All right, so immediately after the goal, I paused it, hit left arrow. I'm at 13.
Try...
At the top, you should be on 450.
Yeah.
450. I'm at 458.
At the top of the
449.
scoreboard, not at the
Yeah.
bottom bar.
Yeah, 449 right now.
Close enough, I guess.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. What a play for Method, starting things off here. Only 7 seconds getting themselves a goal. Let's see if Gale Force has an answer. Turbopulsa over to K-Dop, able to win off that kickoff of Magnus with a solid clear. Might give a chance for Mercenaris. He's not able to send it in, though. Turbopulsa putting the ball to the side. Magnus isn't done, though. Trying to drop it down. Violent Panda with the read to pop it right back out. And Mercenaris with the follow-through. Method trying to give themselves another goal here. They don't want to give Gale Force too much room to breathe. You see Violent Panda now pushing up with over to K-Dop. K-Dop to drop it down. Mercenaris puts the ball to the side. Magnus over to Alot. Miss from Alot might allow K-Dop to send this ball center. There's Violent Panda looking for the shot, but going to be cleared by Method. Violent Panda off the backboard. Saw clear from him. Allow Turbopulsa to push up. Looking for that cherry pick. Not able to get it, though. Gale Force with a minute gone. Still down by 1.
Gale Force had a great chance. Method was out of the position, the whole team, but a couple of whiffs did mean that Gale Force couldn't get anything done on this attack. They immediately back into this one. Strong shots on target. That one off the top and almost goes in. Last minute clear by Elad. Wow, that was dangerous. It still continues to be dangerous. What you've seen in the previous games basically repeats here. Gale Force, when they're attacking, they're extremely dangerous, and Method just defends with the last possible last second shots, last second clears, and make a lot of mistakes, which I'm actually surprised as how they're still going toe to toe with Gale Force in this one.
Right, at this higher tier of gameplay, any mistake is going to cost you heavily. And now here we see Turbopulsa out to center field. Trying to get the ball clear. Turbopulsa to keep the ball rolling out into the orange. Mercenaris with the clear back into the Gale Force half. A lot to follow through. Violent Panda with a solid clear out into the orange corner. Mercenaris looking for the clear. Going to go drop down to Magnus. He's going to clear it right back. And here we are nearing halftime. It's a little bit of a ping pong match going on, but still Method keeping up the pressure.
Extremely low shot count. That's I think the lowest shot count we've seen so far, and lowest goal count by halftime. Violent Panda just goes on a solo effort. His team wasn't supporting him on that attack, and long flying Magnus just gets one past the unsuspecting Gale Force players. 2-0 in a game that was basically a snooze fest. Certainly Magnus has livened it up just a little bit.
All right, we're at 2 minutes and 36 seconds now.
Yep. Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go. 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Magnus able to send that one. It's going to give Method a comfortable 2-goal lead. And when we're nearing halftime here, Method has a lot of momentum going into this one. Let's see if Gale Force can respond. Might be more of the same here as we see another push coming out from Method to send the ball into the half of Gale Force. Really just trying to keep up the offensive pressure and keep Gale Force on the back foot. Mercenaris looking for the follow through. Going to be met by Violent Panda out to center field. Looking for K-Dop. But a lot going to be in and up for that. A lot quicker. Magnus off the backboard. K-Dop with a soft clear. Mercenaris to put it right back into the Gale Force half. Turbopulsa looking for a pass play, but Violent Panda not enough boost to work with. Going to retreat and grab the corner and contest. Now with a solid play, Violent Panda might have a chance here. He's looking to drop it down. He finds K-Dop. He sends it in, and Gale Force is on the board.
Bravo, Gale Force. What a play by Violent Panda off the flank. And this shows that there just weren't enough Method players in the back. Mercenaris with a whiff. He went to challenge Violent Panda, but one miss, as you said, means a lot in this game. And Gale Force with a great teamwork goal to get this the lead of Method cut down just to 1 goal. And Method needs to be very really, because previously they've lost this 2-goal lead. It's better not repeat for them in this game.
All right, 1 minute and 57 seconds left to go. Yeah?
I'm sorry, I'm stuck just a little bit. Yeah, ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, well played by Gale Force to be able to hold off the offensive pressure. We see a lot is that Method, they really like to keep that offensive pressure, but maybe just a little bit of an overcommit. And just really well done by Violent Panda to win out those 50-50s and put Gale Force on the board. Let's see if Gale Force is going to be able to tie things up here as they push back into their own half yet again off the kickoff. Magnus looking for another shot. Not going to be able to get it. Turbopulsa going to close the door on that one. Turbopulsa with the clear. Magnus ready and waiting at half field. Gets it past Violent Panda, but K-Dop to put it to the side. Now Turbo Pulsa up, looking for the clear. K-Dop off to the side. Not going to be able to get an angle, as long as a lot to Metzenaris. Another solid clear coming out from Method to keep up the pressure on Gale Force. They don't want to allow Gale Force out of their own half, as we're seeing the boost star start to have in Turbo Pulsa to put it to the side. Violent Panda finally clearing out, might put off some pressure of Gale Force, but so far Method just keeping up the offensive pressure. Gale Force can't do anything.
Absolutely. Gale Force finally had some time to just collect the boost and get an attack going. With Turbo Pulsa already either looking for the boost elsewhere or just looking for ways to start a counterattack. There's one chance the Gale Force had, but the ball is yet again cleared. But look immediately, when the Gale Force has the chance, 3 players basically surround the whole Method squad, not letting them move the ball anywhere near, challenging the shots immediately as they come. Not even the shots, the passes. This high pressure style of play for Gale Force should pay dividends soon. They have only 30 seconds to tie this game.
Gonna be all or nothing right here. All up to Turbo Pulsa. Not able to get it though. 25 seconds left. Violent Panda with a backflip. That's a mistake from him. Metzenaris to grab control of that, and Turbo Pulsa out to K-Dop. Look for the pass and play. 1, 2, 3. Violent Panda tries to drop it in. Gonna be met by a lot and Magnus though. This Method defense is just too strong. And it's 10 seconds left. It's looking like Gale Force might drop a one. Yeah, let's drop this game, and it's gonna go to a tied series. 1-0. There it is. Method coming away with the win, tying things up on Gale Force. And what a game we just had.
You still can't separate these two squads. Gale Force and Method, 2 of the strongest teams right now on the world scene. And we are going game number 5 just because Method this time was so much stronger. And they were able to keep their lead. Their defense still, I feel like there are a lot of mistakes happening there. Sometimes the players are even in each other's way, or double commits are happening. Well, on the side of Gale Force, it's just as like a well-oiled machine when you look at their play. It's really pretty style of play that they're playing, that's for sure.
Yeah, Method favoring that aggressive play. We see here 7 shots on the Method side, 6 from Gale Force, so they were keeping up the pressure as well. But 3 saves from Method, and not all of those shots were on net. So Gale Force, it seems like they tend to favor that back play, kind of wait and see what Method is going to do, and then they'll try and attack. It's worked out in the first couple games, but this game Method able to hold strong defensively and not allowing Gale Force to gain a footing.
Okay.
All right, game number 5.
Do you want to talk about this one first?
Sure.
So talk about yourself first and what you thought you did well and where you thought you could improve.
So for me, it's the crutch phrases that I tend to go to. Trying to think of specific. I feel like I've been doing better in terms of that and not using the same words so much, and maybe tossing it over to you a little bit sooner and pointing out like, oh, the boost starve from Method, or something like that. I'm just kind of stuck in the play-by-play action, and just trying to point more things out, I would say, is my biggest thing, and tossing it over to you.
There were no troubles with you tossing it to me. I knew exactly at which point you wanted me to start talking. And then I hope I did the same for you, although maybe those weren't as clear, but maybe sometimes the ones that I do that are really obvious are not as good either.
No, for me, I felt like you tossed it over at the right times. I tossed it over to you, like you picked up my vocal cue. Obviously, after every goal, I'm going to say, it's a 2-1 or something like that. And
you're hyped, I'm then going in hyped. And if you're discussing just the play as it's happening without any goals, then yeah, I'm going also like calmly. Because there's no reason for me to go, wow.
Yeah.
One time I went wow because I was looking at Method and seeing how they're constantly blocking and starting to get another counterattack. I thought that was going to go in. It didn't. But I still was surprised.
No, between you and Badger, I feel very comfortable with you picking up on vocal cues, or Badgey rather. It was a little bit harder for me to pick up on when he was, what's the word I'm looking for? Extenuating down, kind of going down to toss it over. But with you, it's pretty easy. Jasher, I don't know. What did you see?
I wasn't paying too much attention that time around. Sorry.
How good is Badgey is the question.
How good is Badgey? Badgey hasn't casted in a while. So he's
Yeah,
probably just
I
trying to get back into things.
I think that's the reason. Pacifist.
Well, he was trying. He changed it up on me too because he wanted to do kind of the color play-by-play switch off, where we both do color, we both do play-by-play, and I was just not ready for that.
Yeah.
It's a good hybrid thing that we have been trying to do over at Rival Esports. Jeez, I now need to get used to the new name. But lately, I think we just gone back to the usual play-by-play in color.
Yeah. Well, based on what I've been hearing, is the play-by-play in color is kind of more the ESPN style, and that's kind of what Psyonix is looking for. Like if you're trying to get a position somewhere or get yourself a job, that's more of what they prefer you do.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah. I don't have anything
See,
to add to it.
they definitely, to me, they definitely like the people with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can get like 5 findable carpets. You'll be set. Yeah, well, for me, there were a couple of things definitely that I didn't like.
From my side or your side?
Specifically from my side, yeah. Not
Okay.
not specifically talking about myself. Regarding you, I think you have the. Maybe when we get back together with Prime, then I'll mention it as a one big thing. But yeah, I get the feeling like I am a little bit fake sounding in the color analysis that I do. I'm not sure why. Other than that, it was okay. I feel like a couple of things that majority of the stuff that I do, almost improvise on the spot. I feel like a couple of things that I started doing, I finished well, and that's great. But I always like just make it up on the spot a lot of the times. I should have much more prepared material. So, what's the deal with airports? Thank you. Anyway, shall we go to the next one?
Yep, I'm in and ready.
4-5, I think. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe in the
That's it.
future it might be a good idea for me to collect stats and like stuff leading up to this RLCS stuff, so that like the color could reference it as we were going along, so it would kind of give them even more of a natural environment for
Yeah.
what they might
Well, yeah,
expect in their own casts.
That's something I want to start doing as well as writing stuff down because I've been interviewing players that play in our tournament, so I have stuff to talk about. But also writing stuff down as tournaments are going would be pretty helpful to reference back to.
All right.
Are you ready?
I was ready before I alt-tabbed back and pressed a couple of buttons, and there we go.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. And we are back. This is going to be game number 5 for these two teams, all tied up. Gale Force and Method battling it out, trying and fighting for that top spot. The winner of this is going to move on to the finals. The loser will drop down to play Cloud9 in the lower bracket, trying to get back up into the upper bracket. Starting things off here. Looks like Gale Force trying to make themselves a nice solid push. Going to be bouted out, but Magnus and Metzenaris now out to center field. Violent Panda to contest a lot. K-Dop is up for it, but he's not going to get a good read. Magnus with a solid clear. Going to put that ball into the corner. Nice redirect from K-Dop. It's going to go wide, though, into the orange half. Metzenaris off the side, dropping it down. Violent Panda's there to meet it, and K-Dop, the nice 50-50 to send the ball into the orange corner. Metzenaris pop it back out into center field, looking for a lot. Going to find K-Dop. K-Dop to break it up. Magnus and Violent Panda meeting themselves halfway. Now a lot to put it into the box. Turbo Pulso to clear it out. Metzenaris off to the side. A minute gone here. It looks like we're seeing a lot of ping pong action. Neither team wants to be the first one to make a mistake.
Well, at this level of play, no one wants to make any mistakes, but I feel like the series has been full of mistakes. Again, mostly from the side of Method when it comes to defense, and from Gale Force there have been a couple of whiffs despite them getting in the good positions, like clear-cut chances. They've just been whiffing. That hasn't cost them too much, but the series is tied. This is for breaking the tie. And Method are doing a lot of great stuff. They're again favoring the backboard. Magnus almost faking out the whole Gale Force team that was there. But it's back and forth. It's back and forth for Gale Force not being able to put any shots on net so far. And they're still looking like a solid team, specifically as a team, as a unit. They're looking for the players everywhere. They position themselves on the field well. For Method, it still feels like they're like 3 individual players who are really great. Like the skill level, obviously undeniable for them, but they sometimes don't feel as a team, mostly as a three buddies playing together at a really high level.
Turbo pulls out to center of the go. Gonna be met by a lot. Violet Panda to drop it down, but Messinaris with the follow through a lot, looking for that doink, not able to get it. Should allow K-Dop to clear it out. K-Dop over to Turbo Pulsa. Nice aerial carry to put it back into the orange half. A lot with the clear up to Messinaris. So that's gonna be a shot. Gonna go wide though. K-Dop ready to clear it out. Rotations from Gale Force are on point right now. Turbo Pulse it down to Violent Panda. That's going to be in, and Messinaris not able to get it. Gale Force strikes first.
Oh, that what started as a slow chip from Turbo Pulse, almost feeling like he didn't really intend it with the last possible touch that he had, the last possible pieces of boost. He did pass it to his teammate. As Violent Panda was just lurking in the center, Messinaris got caught completely off guard as he was backwards to the goal. Backwards to the ball rather, and couldn't get anything done on it. Straight down the middle, but it was still way too late.
All right, 2 minutes and 27 seconds.
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go. Right, and you know, this Gale Force team, more touching on what you just talked about, is they're playing together as a unit, and Method going for more of the solo plays. They're not looking for each other as much, and Gale Force, what we've seen from the first couple games, they're just holding on defensively and then capitalizing on any mistakes from Method, really lining up their defensive rotations and their passing plays. As we're nearing the 2-minute mark of gameplay, Method still down by 1, and Gale Force playing strong defense, not allowing any goals to come on their side.
Method's still trying to put the ball right in there off the backboard, trying to find a player that will come in and finish the play. But it's just not working for them so far. Maybe they should switch up the play just a little bit. For Gale Force, it just has been the solid work. They've been really setting up the plays well. And great shot right there coming in from Magnus. But he couldn't convert and even gets demolished on his way out. He is not welcome inside of Gale Force.
Gale Force looking for another clear. A lot to put it back into the blue half. Get up with the clear. Up to Turbo Pulsa. Nice read from them to put some pressure onto this Method defense. A lot looking for Magnus, but a solo carry broken up by Violent Panda. Now a lot up to Messinaris off the backboard. Going to be a miss from him. Magnus is sending it in. It's going to go high, though, off the crossbar. Got to be feeling for Method right now as they've been putting shot after shot. 6 shots so far, and none of them are going in.
Yeah, if you look at the scoreboard, really, the score line should be completely different. But it's mostly because of K-Dop and his abilities to save anything that Method is currently putting on net. They're trying. They're really trying hard, but let's see how they work when they're playing on the back foot.
Gale Force now stuck in their own half. Nice bump on Turbo Pulsar from Messinaris. This might be a nice change for Method. They need to start getting some demos and maybe throwing Gale Force off the back foot as their defense is way too strong. Now a lot off the side. Violent Panda looking to wrap this one around and down, but nothing to show for that one as Turbo Pulse are going to retreat back for boost. Gale Force just repositioning. All time is in their favor right now. 20 seconds left. K-Dop to put it back into the orange. Looking for Violent Panda. Not able to drop it down as K-Dop going to miss that one all the way back into the orange. Now Turbo Pulse with the clear. Demo onto Gale Force. This one's going to be high-flying. Violent Panda is up for it. Can he drop it down? Magnus is there. Going to put it off to the side. Violent Panda back out to center. Actually, an own goal. A lot sends it in. And now Gale Force coming away with the win and 2 goals to show for it.
For a lot, he wasn't hitting his touches this game. A couple of attempts that he made at even just touching the ball weren't going his way. And now to end this game with this 2-0, it didn't matter at that only a miracle carrier from the run half would have done it for Method. But wow, that is bravo to the Gale Force defense, because Method tried everything, threw everything at them and the kitchen sink, and still Gale Force persevered and came out of this strong, and again taking the lead in the series.
It's more of the same though, isn't it? It's because the first this is game number 5. All 5 games we see Method coming out strong, coming out swinging, and then Gale Force just making all the saves. We see here 6 saves to the 6-7 shots from Method, and you know, if you're Method, I don't know what you do at this point. Gale Force is just playing way too solid.
We've seen a couple of 0-0 overtimes in RLCS. Really, for Method, they just could have brought to continue their pressure, but no, Gale Force just with that little something that they have, those little chances that Method are giving them, they're using them to the fullest, and that's a scoreline: 3 shots, 2 goals in a high-level game like this. It just shows that Gale Force are such a great team, and Method better beware, because they are in a lot of trouble if they let this slip in the next game.
All right, moving on to game number 6.
Okay. Do you guys want to do feedback first?
Yep. So for me, a couple times that I jumbled my words, that's just my brain going faster than my mouth can go. So just really focusing on the next word, the next thing I'm gonna say. And but overall, like, I felt like, I don't want to say I didn't make too many mistakes, but casting with you just feels really easy.
Oh, thanks. I'm pretty sure it's the fact that you're also a proficient caster.
Yeah, I've been casting a little bit for Mythical, so I have a okay feel for it, but just looking for more cues, I think, to try and send you in when nothing's happening. Because I mean, I did toss it over to you a couple times, because that last game there's only 2 goals, but just commenting on defense.
Yeah, it's absolutely normal. Yeah, at some point you have to just to take a breather, or a sip of something.
I don't know. What about you?
For me, I definitely said one of the words I was really trying to avoid heavily. I'll mention it later again when we're all together, and then I hated myself for it. Other than that,
I have a question for you, Jar.
Yeah.
At one point you were talking about, let's see, I believe it was Method and their goals, like not taking advantage of the chances, and you said something like it could have been a completely different scoreboard.
Scoreline, yeah.
Right. I guess what I was just kind of expecting was a little bit more detail on exactly what you meant, because it felt kind of generic. If you know what I mean.
Now that you mention it, yes, it absolutely, yeah. It's that thing I mentioned previously, the fact that I need to flesh out my analysis much more. Just drop something quickly. Also, the moment you mention it, I immediately remember the fact that when I speak and I finish speaking, really make it sound as if that's it. Like no one will be able to speak anymore. Like I put it so much down tone that it's like, that's it. I've said my piece. We're moving on. I should do less of that and more throw it back to the play-by-play so he can continue the thought.
Yeah, I was reading some of the helpful things on As Color. I think one of the tips was sometimes less is more. Is just kind of commenting on the play. If there's nothing too much crazy, just like why they were out of position and stuff, you can throw it right back. Because there was one time where you did say a lot.
Yes, there was one moment when I started going. Sorry, that's my big problem. I feel like I need to speak out, just talk my heart out, which is a nice thing maybe in non-commenting environments. But we're not doing a game. Yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to stop myself from doing, but sometimes I still slip into it.
Yeah. Either way, though, I'm still feeling pretty good. What do you got, Jasher?
I I only noticed this once, but it might have happened in other times. When he transitioned at one point, there was like a slight pause, which I thought was great, personally. I know some people don't like I've heard casters before, they're like, I don't want there to be any space, like I don't want there to be any breaks, but as a viewer, when I'm listening to casters, I feel like I need, a respite sometimes. Because Rocket League happens like really quickly, and there's a lot of action, a lot of time. Like you're tuned in for 5+ minutes in a match. So tiny little breaks like that to me are nice. So I was just gonna mention that.
I do agree with that, 100%.
Yeah, I try not to say every single little thing. I try and kind of break it up a little bit. Sometimes I start rolling and I keep going on every little thing. But yeah, I agree with you 100% because that's kind of the wave punk style of things.
Okay, I think we're actually gonna move up and talk all with each other.
Okay.
If you want to keep casting, we can see if someone else wants to stay around. Pacifist. Sounds like you want to keep going.
I don't mind keeping going, but at the same time, I promised my girlfriend we'd be getting a Christmas tree today, so I don't want to mess that up.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
we
too early,
we
come
can
on.
ask afterwards if somebody's interested in continuing going.
If somebody interested in going for a Christmas tree with your girlfriend.
All right, I'm gonna move us up.
No, they want to hear something a little different. And if you can mix up your play-by-play to kind of show a little bit of the back end and show maybe, if a player's cheating up on a play, if you can tell that, like, oh, I didn't see him there. The viewers love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
You gotta be
Oh.
quicker than that.
Ooh,
Sorry,
piece
you
of
got
candy.
the worst. Sorry, you got the worst end of me, Pacifist. I promise you things got better.
That's a lie. I don't believe you.
Wow. Wow, Jasher.
Dang, toxic.
I got the best end of Jar Jam, so it paid off.
Oh.
Jar's always good.
Alright, so I know Jar had a couple things he wanted to mention, at least with Primed and Pacifist.
Yeah, it's mostly I feel like both of you love the phrase "let's see."
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We'll see, which is I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
maybe it's just me, but you use that a lot.
Yeah, those crutch phrases.
I heard Pacifist use it in the last game that we did together, and then Prime brought it in for the next game. The phrase "blood in the water."
Oh.
I heard that immediately.
I used it
afterwards.
once. I used it
You
one
did.
time.
You did. I mean, that's nothing against you guys. I just found it hilarious. Like, just on a separate note.
What was it referring to? Like the constant? Could you use it in a sentence, please?
Can I get the definition? Yeah, I mean, based off of what I've heard, I don't think I've heard Primed cast yet, and so Pacifist, I've heard you cast before, so there was definite improvement as we went along, and that's kind of the point of this whole thing. You guys, between the two of you, it's and I've told you this before, Pacifist. It's straight. You got to practice.
Yep.
Practice. Do more. And then do what we do at the end here is and break down your cast a little bit. Try to figure out what you can improve on the next one, and then work on that. Badger had mentioned phrasing a little bit, and repeating phrases and repeating certain words.
Yeah,
That
I
does.
was doing that, but
Yeah, everybody does it, and it is tough because we speak English, and English. So sometimes it's tough to rephrase and say things a little bit differently. I personally actually put together my own sheet of different terms from different sports that apply to Rocket League. And I'll give you a free one because I say it all the time. A muffin. A muffin is a hockey term. It's not used in the United States much,
Oh, yeah, 'cause
Canada
I-
really appreciates it.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I've watched hockey now and again. I don't think I've heard that.
Yeah, you don't hear it much because it doesn't happen a lot. A muffin is a shot, a really easy shot that should have been blocked but wasn't.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
and it happens in Rocket League a lot.
okay.
And so usually I save it for a really slow-moving play that should have been blocked by the defense by good positioning.
Well, that's cool because I mean, not only are you throwing a different term out there, but it's kind of like if you're one of the few people using it, then it's kind of a unique thing. But it does remind me. I have a question. So I don't watch hockey like religiously, but I used to watch it when I was younger. And of course, there's a lot of things about Rocket League that reminds me of hockey. So, is it okay to use some hockey terms like now and again
Yes.
instead of the box? Like I'll say like I don't think I said it tonight, but like the slot, I'll say like passes it into the slot or something like that. Is that okay?
Slot, crease, goal,
And
net,
forechecking,
the floor check.
forecheck,
I
yeah.
use it. I use a check when there isn't a demo. So
Okay.
like, and something akin to Rocket League is the air check.
Mhm.
Which you hear it, you know exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree on forechecking because like Rocket League is soccer based, right? And in soccer,
Mhm.
it's called a challenge or a tackle, not a forecheck.
Yeah.
They
Okay,
are the
yeah.
same action, but they since Rocket League is soccer based or football based, to me it makes more sense to use challenge or tackle.
Well, for forechecking, I've used that a few times, but not. I don't use it all the time. But usually, when I use forechecking, it's a player who's just kind of diving, kind of into the corner in the offensive corner to try to keep moving the ball along, in a sense, as opposed to like tackling somebody. But I mean, it's
Use
could be used in different ways.
maybe don't use it as a play-by-play. Maybe use it as a way to explain what's going on as a
Yeah.
color. And use it in a way to like this floor check style of play, much like hockey.
Right. So it's just kind
Type
of okay.
sense.
Right. And I think the few
Kind
times that I've said it, I've actually said, as briefly as I can, that Rocket League is a lot like hockey in some ways, and so then I'll say something, or I'll say that after I say something that has a hockey term. But it is a little weird because a lot of the soccer terms make sense to me, but then I heard wave punk, and actually this is the first time I think I heard it. I heard him say tackle, and I was like, I haven't heard many people use the term tackle, and that makes sense to me, but I haven't heard it very much, so it was a little jarring, but it made sense. So
But
it's something
those
I'm going to try
words-
to use more often.
Those synonyms and things should be used to jar the viewer a little bit. It wakes you up.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of using challenge every time, I mean, if somebody's coming up to, challenge somebody who has the ball, I mean, that's a tackle. So why not
So
use the term?
since we're talking about it off the top of your head, and I'll open it up to anybody, give me different words for 50-50.
Challenge.
Contest.
Oh, that's a good one. Contest. Right.
Challenge, contest, tackle,
Which we've already mentioned.
which we mentioned. What else?
Well, yeah. If they hit it over them, then it's like a dunk.
Okay, that's one. A stop. Dead ball.
Is that a 50-50?
It could be if players moving up the field in the air, and the defenseman comes up to and meets him, and the ball stops. It's stop.
Yeah,
if it
it's a
stops,
stop.
yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, stop.
Slamming the brakes on the play.
Also,
Like
if it's killed, then you could say it's killed, or it's a
kill.
stalemate.
Stalemate. That's another one.
Mhm.
But these are exercises that I did, especially at the beginning of my casting career, where I would sit there at a stoplight when I'm driving, and try to come up with things like that. And eventually, I started writing down because I started forgetting them, and try to work it into the vernacular of your casts, just simply to change it up. Because let's face it gets boring saying 50-50 all the time.
Yeah.
And it's long. It's a long term also.
That too. So it seems like kind of everybody in this lobby, including myself, needs to work on that. So maybe focus on that a little bit here for the next little while.
Mhm.
And if it helps, I mentioned the list that I wrote out. Um, I had that up on my second screen as I casted, and when I feel like I was saying something or was repeating something, I had it sectioned off for different types of plays, and I would just look over and grab a word and use that next.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I've seen Chimblade's document because that's linked
Yes.
on the server. But Ninja, do you have like? Could you share the your
I
document?
think it was a note thing that it was like a notepad thing I made on my own computer. Don't actually, I don't even know if I have it anymore.
But I like the idea of trying to practice in the car. That's what I've been doing lately. I've been just trying to imagine, plays because I just at E-League I just watched like G2 and Gale Force. So I was trying to imagine plays and calling them. And it's harder. It's actually harder, of course, to call plays in your head, trying to imagine things. But it's kind of fun to do. But I like that idea of trying to think of different words and synonyms of things, and just trying to repeat things and do it differently. Kind of fun. That's a good
I
idea.
mean, if you find it hard to emulate, you could just create your own play. I used to do that when I was playing basketball outside. I'd act like I was Michael Jordan or something, and
Right.
act like there's 25 seconds left on the clock or something, and I've got to really
Right.
score this shot. So maybe
That's where it all starts, right?
create your
Yeah.
own fantasy play and get really hyped about it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, though. I mean, I was trying to do it from players, either from tournaments I've casted recently or from like, pro players of tournaments I've seen. But that's a good idea to do it of like yourself, because then you're more into it and then you can like, imagine it better.
I used to cast the dude walking on the sidewalk
Right,
because I mean he's just a dude walking on the sidewalk. There's not really much going on, so you have to change it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds stupid, and it probably is, and it's extremely mundane, but it goes a long way, even
Yeah.
if it's only for 10-15 seconds. But yeah, just forcing yourself to change up your wording it helps a ton.
Yeah, I think I've heard you mention that once before, and I did try to
Yeah.
cast like cars that are like in front of me, what they're doing, like changing lanes.
I've done that. The other thing that I would do, and I extremely recommend this, is cast another game. Do something other than Rocket League.
Oh man.
Um,
Yeah, I never
Whether
thought
it's
of
on
that.
your
I'll
own
do that.
stream, jam, this would be good for you too. If you, I don't know, if you're spectating Counter Strike, or if you're happen to be playing Overwatch and you die, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
PUBG's kind of tough because you're immediately out of the game. So,
Yeah.
you know what? Battle Right.
Yeah.
It's free. You can kind of
fun.
see what's going on all the time, and it's a blast to play. So, you could technically do that. Something along those lines, or if you're watching sports on TV, try to cast that. If you're at a
Mhm.
sports game, cast that in your head. Don't be weird. I mean, it would be kind of weird to show up at, insert favorite hockey team here with a headset on and plugged into your phone, and you're getting all into the play-by-play, and somebody's looking at you sideways like, who is this dude?
Right. Well, that's the one thing I like about doing it in the car. Like I said, I've been trying to practice a little bit in the car, and I can be as loud as I want to be, as long as I'm not at a stoplight, because then people might look over and be
Oh,
like,
no.
"What's that guy doing?"
Keep being loud. The other people need entertainment.
Right.
So, I
Does-
think I've said my piece.
Does anyone have any questions? General questions?
Jam, Badger, you guys have a lot of experience as well.
Oh, do I?
I mean, you've watched more tournaments than anybody in this room, except for Jasher, possibly.
Yeah. May. I got up and went to go grab a drink while you were talking. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Jam,
I heard everything.
Right. He says, sitting in a bathtub.
I have a wireless headset, so it's true.
You can cast that, by the way.
Hey.
But yeah, Ninja, do you have a like specific question? Maybe I missed something.
No, I mean, if you had something to add, based off
No.
of your experiences with these two.
No, not specifically. Actually, I feel like today. Sorry. There we go. I feel like today we had really two great and capable people. Not often that happens. Then again, I haven't
Hey.
done this in a while.
Cool. I had a lot of fun, so I don't know if that counts, but
That absolutely counts.
I mean, you have to have fun.
right.
Yeah.
What's the point?
You must, or else.
Prerequisite.
I would say thank you for putting this on, and I'm gonna be at the next one. Sadly, wasn't at the last one because I slept too long.
Blame
But,
Jasher. Jasher puts all this shit together. I just sit here and look pretty.
Yeah, you do. But either way, glad that I could be here and show up. So thank you.
All right.
All right. Shall we call it, Jasher?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop recording. We have an hour and
Jasher
20.
said-